So the question we're answering today is just how crazy is it to have interest rates over 6%? Hi there, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jon Hill. I'm a realtor here in Anchorage, Alaska, and I help home buyers and sellers just like yourself in the Anchorage and Matsu area. In December of 2020, interest rates hit the low of just 2.68%, and then they started their climb upwards to the peak of October of 2022, where they reached just over 7% at 6.9%. And last month of December of 2022, we did see interest rates come down slightly, but they're still over 6%, and the average for December came in at 6.36%. That has caused quite a few home buyers to have a little bit of a shock when they get quotes from lenders as far as what their monthly payments will be on these mortgages. To put that in perspective, if you got a home loan for $500,000 at 2.68%, your monthly payments for principal and interest would be around $2,000. Now, if you're going to get the same home loan of $500,000 at 6.9% interest, your payments would then be $3,300. And if you got an interest rate of about what we saw last month at 6.36%, your payments would be $3,100. But quick side note, note that that is only principal and interest payments and would not include any taxes, insurance, or potential HOA fees and the such. Just principal and interest. So as you can see, payments for homes have gone up quite a bit here recently, but the question we're trying to answer is how crazy is it to see interest rates over 6% looking back throughout history. As you can see from this graph for mortgage interest rates for the past 15 years, we can see the last time that we saw interest rates go above 6% was in 2008, when the average interest rate for that year was 6.03%. So it has been 14 years since we saw interest rates over 6%. But let's take a look back even farther in history. Say, let's look back 50 years. As you can see from this graph of mortgage interest rates for the past 50 years, we can clearly see that interest rates have been much lower recently than they have been in the past. In fact, if we put a line across at 6%, we see that for 30 years from 1972 to 2002, mortgage interest rates were always over 6%. And in fact, only 17 out of the past 50 years had mortgage interest rates been under 6%. And remember, 14 of those past 17 years have been consecutive years prior from today. So perhaps mortgage interest rates aren't as high as we think they are. In fact, if we average the past 50 years, the average is in fact 7.76%. Perhaps we need to be changing the conversations that we're having and hearing and come to realize that maybe any interest rates that are under 8% are in fact better than average. And maybe these interest rates that we're seeing in the sixes are in fact not bad, but more normal. Whatever the case may be, the majority of experts are expecting interest rates to come down as we move forward as inflation comes down. While most aren't expecting interest rates to get nearly as low as they were before, what we are expecting is when the interest rates decrease to see an increase in buyer demand and the market becoming more competitive like it was prior. So what does that mean for you if you're thinking about buying or selling a home here in the Anchorage or Matsu area? Well, if you're a buyer, remember what we spoke about in last month's market report, which I will link in the description below, in that while there's a lot of markets seeing price reductions, the Anchorage market is continuing to see price appreciation. In fact, pretty good price appreciation at 8%. And in fact, the inventory in our market is still quite low. So if you're a buyer, know that most would agree if you wait, you're probably going to get a slightly lower interest rate. However, you're going to be competing against a lot of other buyers that are waiting for interest rates to lower as well, when right now you stand a good chance of getting a good price on a property with perhaps seller concessions or negotiating good terms for yourself. But waiting, we might see those things become much more difficult as we've seen in prior years. Now, if you're a seller, once again referring to the market report that we went over last week, know that we are seeing a pretty big pullback in the amount of buyers in the market right now. But what we're also seeing is a pretty big pullback in the amount of sellers in the market right now too. Inventory is going up, like we discussed, at a rate of about 7%. So we're not seeing a huge influx of inventory, but it is looking like inventory is climbing. So while we are expecting buyer demand to increase when we see interest rates come down, we're also expecting more sellers to come on the market too. What we know right now is that we're sitting at about 1 month of inventory, and a balanced market is usually referred to 5 months of inventory. So if you're thinking it could be the right time for you to sell, just know that we are definitely still in a seller's market of around 1 month of inventory. But no, while we are seeing reports of a lot of other markets where we're seeing prices come down, that isn't happening in Anchorage. In Anchorage, we're still seeing price appreciation. So if you're wondering if you're still able to get top dollar, the answer is yes. You're still able to sell your property for more when we're looking at any given month year over year than you ever have been before. But I see a real opportunity for sellers right now is we haven't seen any price declines in our market, so you would still be able to sell your property in the Anchorage area, Matsu area for top dollar, and then if you're relocating to one of these markets in the lower 48 where we have seen price declines, you could literally get the best of both worlds where you're selling at the top and buying at a discount. So that's our national real estate topic for this month. I find it very interesting to see these interest rates that are catching so many headlines and are making so many people unsure of what to do. If we look back at the 50-year average, we're still below it. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the market and would like to discuss about all these things going on in the market and make sure you're making a strategy that's best for you, feel free to reach out to me. And of course, if I can be helped with anything else real estate related, don't hesitate to reach out. This is Jon Hill, Realtor here in Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm here for you.